Welcome to this week's Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence. I'm your host, Miss Roni, and I always seek to give you exquisite cranial repertoire. I'm the type of person that I never try to kick a person when they're down, but I also have some degrees within the social and behavior sciences, and I find some behavior a little peculiar with Drake. And this week, I have been hearing a few things about Drake that is kind of not cool. And I wouldn't even say this week, I would say the past few weeks. I feel like Drake probably should have sat in the corner and ate his food when it came to Kendrick. And to add insult to injury, what is with him trying to stop the TDE artists from performing at the venue in, what is it, Toronto? You don't mess with people's money like that. That's the issue. And I know that his money was probably affected in some way because of the beef with him and Kendrick. And I'm thinking maybe that he thought it would be cool to have like this, I would say, media beef to boost his popularity because he had that 400 million on his head. But that's just my opinion. I had a group of people to try to stop my money and try to box me in. And I think that doing things like that is cowardly. And I think that this, and it's so, I just don't know. But when they're teaching bullying in school, I think that this would be a good example of how Drake actually did pick with Kendrick over and over because he wanted this beef. He asked for this. And if somebody is telling you, hey, you might not want to do that. Hey, and you're that cocky that you think you can do it anyway, because my understanding, he was like, drop. Okay, he did. Now, I remember listening to Euphoria, and Kendrick asked, yo, Top Dog, who the fuck they think they playing with? Okay, you should have not even made anything after that, because what he was telling you was, I'm not just the one that turned around and looked at you. All us looking at you. What are you doing? And that means you better stop playing before it get real serious. And I'm sure it's other cultures, but black people don't play about their money. And you will have some that will not make a big spectacle about it, but you best believe you won't get no more business out of them. Because if you leave owing somebody some money, you needed them. They didn't need you. In some aspects, I do feel sorry for Drake because this beef has went to another level. It has passed a freaking hip hop beef. The level of public humiliation, although in my opinion, I think Drake need a lesson in the golden rule. I still have some type of empathy for him, I would say. You treat people how you want to be treated. And I'm just, like I said, just looking at some of the behaviors of Drake. And then I hear that Drake snaked Lil Yachty out of his own song. Now, I may have this wrong, and if I have this wrong, forgive me, because I try to get things right. But from my understanding, the song actually wasn't Lil Yachty's to begin with. It belonged to a gospel artist, and they took it from him, and he was saying, hey, I'm doing music for the Lord. I don't want you doing all this cussing. And they was doing it anyway and done their little verses and stuff. They thought it was funny. And then Drake ended up putting Lil Yachty out the song and keeping it for himself. Okay? Now, if I'm wrong on that. But I'm thinking Lil Yachty was supposed to be his friend because on that song, Kendrick said he don't give a fuck about who you hang with. And he said something about Lil Yachty. So evidently you was hanging with Lil Yachty and that didn't make a difference. It still didn't give you no swag or whatever, if that's what they want to call it. But how you gonna do that again? And the issue is that everyone is saying the same thing about Drake. If everybody is saying the same thing about you, the problem is not them. The problem is you. Megan said it in her song. She said, all these little rap niggas so fraud. Xanax be their hardest bars. These niggas hate on BBLs and be walking around with the same scars. And then she go on in the verse to say cosplay gangsters, fake ass accents, posted in another nigga hood like a bad bitch. So I know other artists have said things, but then even Kendrick said, tell them where you really get your abs from. There's not, what did he say? There's not an accent you can sell me. And he don't like Drake when he talk tough. He like Drake with the melodies. And I know I said it backwards, but you know what I'm saying. When you learning something or you teaching something, you're not going to give it to you verbatim all the time because people want you to use your brain and figure some things out. So, oh, he changed up the lyrics. No, it's still saying the same thing essentially, but do you get the meaning of what he's saying? Then Drake does the same thing to Lil Yachty that he did to Wayne. I think that was Lil Yachty. It might be one of his other friends. So I'm not understanding why, especially with going behind your friends screwing their women. Are you nuts? That right there, you're not from the culture if you're not understanding that right there. For me, that is some deep insecurity. So I was like, what's up? Because he's insecure about too many things. According to Times of India, some insecurities that men have are body image, because they have pressure to look good. So that might explain the alleged use of the weight loss drug and the alleged BBL. Relationship, self-doubt, a doubt in satisfying a partner. So it's like all of his relationships seem to have been failed relationships. And I guess he feels safest with going behind somebody else because that's a relationship issue. And that's one of the things that they list for an insecure man. Other insecurities even includes their hair. So I'm just wondering, I don't know how true it is, but I know Tisa Tales and a couple of other people reported on it that the braids that Drake wears is not his hair. It may be now. I mean, because some people wear things like that until their hair grow out. So it's not saying that it's not, because he could have worn the man piece long enough to grow his hair out. So we don't know. So, but they were saying in the beginning, you could almost for certain say that they showed enough proof that that was a major possibility that he did wear a whole hair piece for the braids. But some other signs of an insecure man includes jealousy, manipulative behaviors, distance, and silence. So, Kendrick then called him a master manipulator over and over again, and he showed his jealousy by even going behind his friends to even try to holler at their women. And when it says the distance and the silence, I thought about how they say he sneak this. It's not up in your face, because Kendrick said it'd be direct. It's kind of like he do it from a distance, and he throw rocks and hide his hands. That's the silence. And it seems that Drake is jealous of Kendrick and a few others. Kendrick has already called him a master manipulator, as I've said. And then after the rap battle, it is the Democratic roll call. Oh my goodness. Okay. So Louisiana. Their theme song for Louisiana was I'm Still Fly. I want to say that was the Big Timers. Gator booze with the pimped out Gucci suit. And I was like, what? I was like, all right. So the marketing strategy is we're going to get all the people who don't normally vote or who would not have voted this time. And we need to grab every minority it is because they are our future and we have to get them. And then I thought about now, how many kids, well, they will in Louisiana because that is a classic. It's a classic here in Arkansas. Then when it was time for California, California Love played. And you looked at the people in the crowd that was there. You seen maybe one black person. You seen Chinese, Vietnamese, white, Indian, everything. And when they said it was the melting pot, it was the melting pot. But the music that represented them was California Love, Tupac, Dr. Dre. Be Humble, Kendrick Lamar. Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar. And da-da-da-da-da, Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. That is the West Coast, representing the West Coast, representing California that was part of Mexico. And I even think about when people got all mad at the Hispanic YouTuber commentator when he said that Kendrick didn't include the Hispanic community. And they was like, this is for Compton. Well, Compton is Hispanic and black predominantly. So I understand the piñata in the video because, yes, although there's a difference, when it comes to Compton, the Hispanics is part of the Compton culture. So I'm going to say again, because I'm going to just say again, treat people how you want to be treated and stop trying to manipulate and shape the story how you want. Hey, Drake, we're not slow. I'm going to leave it there. And remember, you can catch the Indie Artist Music Hustle with me, Blonde Intelligence, on all podcasting platforms, streaming live on social media, and get your merch at www.blonde-intelligence.com. Bye.
Hey girl, let me tell you about this podcast.
Girl, everybody has a podcast these days.
But this one interviews new and interesting indie artists. It's called Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence.
Really? Where can I find it?
It's on all podcasting platforms, streams live on social media, and on rpentradio.com.
What'd you say it was called again?
It's called Indie Artist Music Hustle with Blonde Intelligence.
Girl, I'm gonna have to check her out.
Give it a check, girl.